The Agile Leader 360 qualifying webinar is designed to equip you with the information necessary to administer and interpret the Agile Leader 360. In this webinar, we will firstly explore some background knowledge about the Agile Leader 360, which will include an explanation of the Agile leadership model. This will be followed by a guide on how to read and interpret the Agile Leader 360 report. Next, we will explore professional standards for using this report, as well as some recommendations around best practice in giving feedback. The webinar will conclude by summarising the key features and applications of the Agile Leader 360 and outlining the support materials that are available. The first section will provide general information about the Agile Leader 360 and introduce the model upon which it is based. There is also a technical reference and administration guide available which outlines the theoretical rationale and the development of the Agile Leader 360. The Agile Leader 360 gathers feedback from an individual's reports, peers, and managers, and is made up of scaled questions, ranked option questions, and open-ended feedback. The global benchmarks contained within the Agile Leader 360 report are updated annually and reflect a cross-section of a number of different industries and sectors. In addition to the global benchmark, company-specific benchmarks can also be developed for organisations wanting to use the Agile Leader 360 for broader leadership programs. The Agile Leader 360 has a wide range of applications, including leadership development, team building, career development, succession planning, talent identification, monitoring organisational change, talent development, internal and external benchmarking, and cohort analytics. Multi-rater feedback from tools such as the Agile Leader 360 provides a range of useful information, including behaviours that are outside a leader's awareness, insight into a leader's reputation at work, and a real-time snapshot of a leader's attitude, behaviour, and performance. By eliciting feedback from multiple sources within the leader's work circle, a nuanced and comprehensive understanding can be obtained about the leader's behaviour in the workplace. The Agile Leader 360 is based on the Agile Leader model developed by the IMD Business School. This model describes the competencies and behaviours associated with Agile leaders who are able to successfully navigate through the opportunities and challenges associated with market disruption. The Agile Leader model consists of the following Agile Leader competencies. Humility refers to being able to accept feedback and recognising that others may know more than you do. Adaptability refers to accepting that in disrupted business environments, change is constant and that changing one's mind based on new information is a strength rather than a weakness. Visionary refers to having a clear sense of long-term direction. Engagement refers to having a willingness to listen, interact, and communicate with internal and external stakeholders. The Agile Leader model also consists of the following three behaviours that reinforce agility. Hyper-aware refers to constantly scanning internal and external environments for opportunities and threats. Making informed decisions refers to making use of data and information to make evidence-based decisions where possible. Executing at speed refers to moving quickly to implement, often valuing speed over perfection. Reading and interpreting the Agile Leader 360 report. This section will guide you through how to read and interpret the Agile Leader 360 report. The report will be reviewed section by section, and suggestions will also be made on where to focus feedback accordingly. The first page of the report, which is on page 2, displays the breakdown of different rater groups. A typical Agile Leader 360 report will feature 8 to 12 raters. For example, there can be 1 or 2 managers, 4 to 5 peers, and 4 to 5 reports. Self-ratings are also illustrated, but they do not contribute to any of the overall scores. The self-ratings appear later in the report for comparative and benchmarking purposes. The summary page, page 3, is especially important because it presents the overall score. The Agile Leader 360 score is the average score of the 50 scaled items, which rely on a 7-point scale. This score can then be represented as a percentile compared to the global benchmark. Other relevant benchmarks can be added. The number of raters, excluding self, is also indicated on this page. The scoring system shows the anchors for each of the numbers on the 7-point rating scale, where 7 is the highest score. The option for raters to mark not applicable or not observed is also mentioned. The Agile Leadership Model appears for the first time in the report on the summary page. A brief explanation of the model is useful. The results of the standard 50 questions, rated from 1 to 7, will feature in the report as scores for the 4 Agile Leader competencies and 3 Agile Leader behaviours. Page 4 provides a summary of an individual's scores for each of the Agile Leader competencies and behaviours, excluding self-ratings. Definitions of each of the Agile Leader competencies and behaviours are also provided on this page. Pages 5 to 8 provide a breakdown of the results according to the 4 Agile Leader competencies and 3 Agile Leader behaviours. There are 5 columns of data on each page, corresponding to the question items listed on the far right. The first column, overall, is the composite score from all raters excluding self. The second column is the manager rater score. The third column is the peer rater score. The fourth column is the reports rater score, and the final column is the self-rater score. This is the first time in the report that the self-rating has been revealed. Gaps between rater groups and self-ratings can indicate hidden strengths or blind spots. Another important benchmarking opportunity is the variation between managers, peers, and reports. From research, these 3 different groups of people have different needs and perspectives and may rate differently. It is also an opportunity to assess how well the manager is managing upwards, sideways, and downwards. For each of the comparisons between groups, focus on gaps greater than 1 point. On pages 9 and 10, we find the overall item rating section. Here we have the scores for the 50 items presented from highest to lowest mean rater evaluations. A global benchmark score for each item is also provided. Review the top 5 to 10 items to look for patterns around strengths and the bottom 5 to 10 items for patterns in development opportunities. Additional information can be gained by examining those items where the individual score was 1 point or more above the benchmark, indicating a strength, and those where the score was 1 point or more below the benchmark, indicating a development opportunity. These 2 tables are a very powerful part of the Agile Leader 360. The options in the menu come from years of research and from over 3,000 360 reports containing text responses relating to strengths and opportunities. The raters are asked to identify 4 strengths and opportunities rated from first choice through to 4th choice. Rank is determined by assigning points. 4 points for the first choice, 3 points for the second choice, 2 points for the third choice, and 1 point for the 4th choice. The total score equals the sum of points. Therefore, the higher number of points assigned to an item, the higher its ranking on this table. Research indicates that the top 5 or 6 items have scored most of the points available. This means that raters have identified common issues without necessarily communicating with each other. In addition, it is likely that the person's strengths and opportunities are generally understood by those that know them well. There are also benchmarking columns that provide a global ranking and a group ranking. Identify any significant variations from the global or the group for the individual. On pages 13 and onwards, text responses from the raters are provided. The first question relates to the person's strengths as they relate to Agile leadership, while the second question relates to what holds the person back from being an effective Agile leader. Each row represents a response from a different rater. Analyze the strengths and opportunities comments and look for patterns or even recurring words and themes from previous sections. The strengths comments can be compared to the strengths table on page 11. The opportunities comments can be compared to the opportunities to improve table on page 12. The development plan page provides template for the construction of a development plan for the individual. The strengths can most easily be picked up from page 11 and from the written comments. Development needs can most easily be picked up from page 12 and from the written comments. Customization of the Agile Leader 360 is a service offered by Peterberry Consultancy and includes development of custom questions to include in the Agile Leader 360 for client organizations, as well as custom branding. Additional item banks of benchmarked competencies are also available to be added to the Agile Leader 360. Up to 10 items can be added complimentary. If you are interested in further discussing the customization options available, please email support@agileleader360.com. The Agile Leader 360 is available for both individuals and groups. Individual Agile Leader 360 results can be combined to create an Agile Leader 360 group report. The Agile Leader 360 group report captures data from multiple individuals and generates scores for the group to highlight group-level strengths and opportunities, and can be used to help inform priorities for leadership and team development programs. The Agile Leader 360 summary report compares individual scores from participants in the group in a side-by-side layout for ease of comparison and works as a complement to the Agile Leader 360 group report. Agile Leader 360 Professional Standards. This section will provide information about the professional standards associated with the Agile Leader 360. To maximize the utility of the Agile Leader 360, it is important that professional standards are met. Prior to conducting the Agile Leader 360 process, it is important to communicate program parameters, such as who will receive the reports and confidentiality. A feedback session should be provided and, where possible, integrate the Agile Leader 360 feedback with other available information and/or any existing systems. The Agile Leader 360 reports are usually presented in person. When this is not possible, such as when telephone debriefs are scheduled, reports should be delivered within a minimum time period between report delivery and briefing. This is to minimize any negative consequences that may result from the Agile Leader 360 results. The feedback session should conclude with the construction of a development plan with achievable and measurable goals. Best practice is to have 8 to 15 raters that represent a mix of the participants' immediate managers, peers, colleagues, and people who report directly to them. In the event that a participant does not have direct reports, you should use more peers or colleagues that regularly work with them. The raters should be chosen on the basis of knowing the individual quite well so that they can give constructive feedback. It also helps if there is some interdependency between the rater and ratee, in other words, a significant working relationship. The manager ratings appear on the report regardless of the number in the group. However, for other rater groups, to protect rater confidentiality, there must be at least 2 raters per rater group. Reports will not be generated when there are less than 5 raters. Where less than 2 raters, the rater groups will be combined into one group. Feedback best practice. The next section of this webinar will guide you through the feedback delivery process and identify how to provide feedback on Agile Leader 360 results. During the delivery of the feedback, remind the ratee that the feedback reflects a snapshot in time. It is how they appear to others as they perform their current role within a particular organisation. This is especially helpful when the ratee has received a poor result. Focus on specific development opportunities by discussing any discrepancies between ratings from different rater groups and self-ratings. When concluding the feedback session, ask the ratee to summarise what they are going to stop, start, and keep doing. This helps to ensure that they have heard the key points of the feedback and that they are prepared to take action on it. To facilitate their development, encourage them to share their results with relevant stakeholders. If they are uncomfortable with sharing the whole report, suggest that they may share just the strengths and opportunities section. You may also choose to suggest to the ratee that coaching can be extended to help them improve their scores with subsequent Agile Leader 360s. There are numerous support materials available to assist you in providing feedback and understanding more about the Agile Leader 360. The Agile Leader 360 has a range of supporting resources to ensure that the practitioner is able to understand and apply the results appropriately. These include this qualification webinar, the Technical Reference and Administration Guide, which outlines the theoretical rationale and development of the Agile Leader 360, the Development Activities Guide, which provides practical suggestions that individuals can follow in order to develop their leadership competencies further, and the Agile Leader 360 Feedback Guide, which outlines step-by-step how to debrief the results. The final section of this webinar will provide you with additional information related to the Agile Leader 360. The Agile Leader 360 has a wide range of features and applications, including leadership development, team building, career development, succession planning, talent identification, monitoring organizational change, talent development, internal and external benchmarking, and analytics. The Agile Leader 360 can also be used at various levels of an organization. As of August 2019, the Agile Leader 360 is available in UK English, US English, and German. Other languages are available on request. The Agile Leader 360 data is held by a GDPR-compliant software provider that complies with global security standards. Full details of privacy and compliance standards are available by contacting support@agileleader360.com. For more information about the Agile Leader 360, including how to order, please contact support@agileleader360.com. Thank you for completing the Agile Leader 360 qualifying webinar.